The ultimate purpose of the sophisticated manipulation of these individuals may sound unrealistic depending on our interpretive understanding of the physical and spiritual realms. The deepest and darkest altars within bloodliners are purported to be dormant until the Antichrist is revealed. These New World Order altars supposedly contain callback orders and instructions to train and or initiate a large influx of people, possibly clones or soulless ones. You see a lot of clones in the music industry. A lot of these celebrities are clones, believe it or not. They have quote unquote doppelgangers, thereby stimulating social control programs into the new millennium. And they use these celebrities to stimulate these social control programs with what they impress upon the masses when it comes to the music and everything else that comes with these agendas. Non-biological twinning is yet another bizarre feature observed within monarch programming. For instance, two young non-related children would be ceremoniously initiated in a magical soul bonding ritual so they might be inseparably paired for eternity. This is what you see in the industry when it comes to certain NBA players, movie stars, rappers, so on and so forth. They have this twinning aspect, and it goes into the programming. Like J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, they're twinned. Drake and Kendrick Lamar are twinned as well. All three of them, they're all twinned. As well as certain, movie stars, certain actors, two women, two men. You see a lot of it in the industry when it comes to certain unrelated aspects of, what brings them together, as well as commonalities. They're unrelated, but they're related, It's just certain things that bring them together when it comes to an understanding that only certain people could pick up on if they have an understanding of, the programming, if they have the understanding of the twinning aspect, certain alchemical aspects, certain things that go into, the esoteric. This is how you, crack the code when it comes to these levels of understanding the programming. Possibly another Mangel connection going into Yosef Mangel. They essentially share two halves of the program information, making them independent upon one another. Paranormal phenomena such as astral projection, telepathy, ESP, etc. appear to be more pronounced between those who have undergone this process. Going into the levels of programming, alpha, regarded as general or regular programming within the base control personality, characterized by extremely pronounced memory retention along with substantially increased physical strength and visual acuity. Alpha programming is accomplished through deliberately subdividing the victim's personality, which in essence causes a left brain to right brain division, allowing for a program union of left and right through neuron pathway stimulation. Beta, referred to as sexual programming. This programming eliminates all learned moral convictions, all natural inhibitions. That's what it's going into. It stimulates the primitive sexual instincts devoid of inhibitions. And this is how it's so easy for, certain female actors or female celebrities, if you will, to be more easily accessed, to be more easily susceptible. You break them down in that way with the programming. Beta programming can apply to a man or a woman. Usually the cat programming is what we see with the women, and it's pretty much synonymous. Cat altars may come out of this level. Yeah, just as I said, they're synonymous. Like when you think about Katy Perry, the singer Katy Perry, that's not even her real name. That name is her stage name because it's an allusion to her programming. And, she talked about growing up in, a Christian household or a spiritual household. That's just a front. That's all it is just a front. Just like Kanye West. A lot of these celebrities, they're not who you think they are. Pretty much all of them. Delta, this is known as killer programming, originally developed for training special agents or elite soldiers, i.e. Delta Force, 1st Earth Battalion, Mossad, etc., in covert operations. Optimal adrenal output and control aggression is evident. Subjects are devoid of fear, very systematic in carrying out their assignment. Self-destruct or suicide instructions are layered in at this level. Theta, considered to be psychic programming, Bloodliners, those coming from multi-generational satanic families, were determined to exhibit a greater propensity for having telepathic abilities than did non-bloodliners. Due to its evident limitations, however, various forms of electronic mind control systems were developed and introduced, namely biomedical, human telemetry devices, which is like, brain implants, which is certain images that depict the mind control procedure or process. If you would like Google like CIA MK Ultra mind control, you would see a depiction of it. So that's what it pretty much illustrates. Directed energy lasers using microwaves and or electromagnetics. It is reported these are used in conjunction with highly advanced computers and sophisticated satellite tracking systems. Omega, a self-destruct form of programming also known as code green. The corresponding behaviors include suicidal tendencies and or self-mutilation. This program is generally activated when the victim or survivor begins therapy or interrogation and too much memory is being recovered. This is what you see in a lot of these movies. You see that in a lot of these movies, especially these Tubi movies with these women who have to go see therapy and whatnot. They lose their memory at first and then they regain it. Gamma, another form of system protection, is through deception programming, which elicits misinformation and misdirection. This level is intertwined with demonology and tends to regenerate itself at a later time if inappropriately deactivated. You see gamma programming a lot just when it comes to what's disseminated to the masses. So let's get into the methods and components. The initial process begins with creating dissociation within the subject, usually occurring from the time of birth to about 6 years. This is primarily achieved through the use of electroshock and is at times performed even when the child is in the mother's womb. Due to the severe trauma induced through electroshock treatment, sexual abuse, and other methods, the mind splits off into alternate personalities from the core. Formerly referred to as multiple personality disorder or MPD, it is presently recognized as dissociative identity disorder, DID, and is the basis for monarch programming. Further conditioning of the victim's mind is enhanced through hypnotism, double bind coercion, pleasure pain reversals, food, water, sleep, and sensory deprivation, along with the various drugs which alter certain cerebral functions. The next stage is to embed and compress detailed commands or messages within the specified alter. This is achieved through the use of high-tech headsets in conjunction with computer-driven generators which emit inaudible sound waves or harmonics that affect the NRA covering of neuron pathways to the subconscious and unconscious mind. Wow. Virtual reality optical devices are sometimes used simultaneously with the harmonic generators projecting pulsating colored lights, subliminals, and split-screen visuals. High-voltage electroshock is then used for memory dissolution. Programming is updated periodically and reinforced through visual, auditory, and written mediums. Some of the first programming themes included The Wizard of Oz and Alice in the Wonderland, both heavily saturated with occultic symbolism. Many of the recent Disney movies and cartoons are used in a twofold manner, obviously, and we understand that on so many levels. Desensitizing the majority of the population using subliminals and neurolinguistic programming, and deliberately constructing specific triggers and keys for base program of highly impressionable monarch children. Disney programming. A lot of the kids that came up in Disney are under mind control. Pretty much all of them. They came under the Disney umbrella. They under mind control. You have Disney programming associated with Rihanna, even though she wasn't under the Disney umbrella. She's even got Disney programming. Chris Brown, Disney programming. Most celebrities, even outside of the Disney umbrella, are under Disney programming.